Welcome to the Extra Innings with Anna Semba and Jeffrey Nelson. We're here to give you the extra scoop of everything that's going on during the Pioneers. You know, we've been on the road for a week now, and they're coming back today. Today's their first game back. It's a 10-game in 11 days, 10 home games in 11 days. So a lot to go over these past week that they were on the road in Kansas, and what they're going to be doing for these next 10 days.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk to Patrick Madden, who is basically the head of us as the interns. You know, he's the person that we go to outside of Chuck and Myra because he has the experience and he's from here, or well, at least he lives here now. And then we'll also talk to Ronan Hella, who's become a star on the mound for the Pioneers and been somebody that Coach Sharkey has turned to all season. But first, I guess we have to talk a little bit about the 6-game road trip to Kansas for the Pioneers.
The unfortunate part of baseball, you know, you win some, you lose some. I'm going to quote Morgan Wallen here real quick. You win some, you lose some, and it ain't always home runs. That's just the way life is.
Yeah, and it's not always wins, and it's not always, life isn't always that easy as a baseball player and as a baseball team. And the Pioneers struggled on the road in their 6-game road trip. They got a win in the second game, and it was looking good. The goal was to win 4, and unfortunately for them, they only turned up and got 1 in their 6 games that they played between the 3 teams in Dodge City, Liberal, and Hayes. And now they come home, and they'll play 2 of those 3 teams here at home over the 11 days that they're playing. Of course, starting today with the Australian Select Colts.
Yes, super exciting. This game is going to be so much fun. We've been told several times by, you know, Chuck and Myra and even people like around town that they're super excited for this game. Today's Fill the Park. Tomorrow is just going to be, we have a Guns and Hoses. We're hosting a softball game that the Gary Police Department will be hosting for a charity, Shop with a Cop, Toys for Children. They'll be playing today at 4 o'clock, and then afterwards, Saturday, tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself. And today's Fill the Park, that's right. But yes, the Australians are coming, and then we're back to kind of league games for a little bit.
Yep.
And then,
couple games against Greeley, and then Hayes comes into town, which we know will be rough on Wednesday and Thursday, given the games that we had, although we played them well in the second game of the doubleheader the other day. And Sunday is Bark in the Park, if I'm not mistaken.
Bark in the Park, Kids Day, and movie night at the ballpark. So big day.
We have to thank Midwest Theater for movie night as well.
Yes, we do.
On Sunday. And just overall, I think the Pioneers are going to be happy to be at home because that is where they've been playing their best baseball, where they're 8-2 at home while they're 1-7 on the road. So I don't know, Anna.
So maybe this 10-game home stretch is going to be a positive thing for the Pioneers, maybe to get back onto, you know, home base and be able to play well. You know, kill it on the plate, kill it on the mound. Having all their teammates there cheering them on might be the reason, the drive to get them to get those wins.
Yeah, and even though they fell over the past week in a bunch of games, they still stand at 5-6 in the league, and according to Point Streak, they're still in 4th. So it shows that even though you've lost some games, you have the opportunity here at home to win games and get back into the standings and improve yourself in the standings because you're playing a couple of those teams that are ahead of you. But also, it's an opportunity for these guys to feel more secure being at home and also to feel a little bit more calm and relaxed while playing the game of baseball, because when you play tense, it's a lot harder to win games.
And just being on the road overall, you're riding for hours, you know, and, you know, sometimes you might just not be locked in when you can wake up, you know, have the morning off and not be traveling. I'm sure that's another thing that adds to it, is being home, just getting it back into their normal routine that you see them in Gary and Scottsbluff.
And also, I mean, I was on the road trip doing the games on KNEB radio, and to be honest with you, during the day, there was not much to do in Dodge City, Liberal, and Hayes, if I'm being quite honest with you. I mean, there was a rain out, so the guys went to a driving range, and that was fun, but outside of that, before the ball game, there was not much to do. So it was all of kind of sitting around and not being able to hang out because guys don't have their cars, and being able to hang out with each other and go around Gary and Scottsbluff like they usually do before home games and just relax, you know?
Aren't getting put in during the times that they normally do. And like I said, I think they're going to go back to their regular routine. I think that this is going to be helpful for them. And just being back home, like I said, you know, the home advantage. That's what it's called, advantage.
Home field advantage. Yeah, absolutely. And so should we get ready to bring Patrick in? Patrick Madden, who is he's not an intern. He works for the Pioneers, of course, but he basically, at times, he oversees us interns. So
He's
Patrick
our
Madden.
operations manager, and you know we're gonna have him on after this little break that we're gonna have, and we're just gonna ask him how he is here. You know, this is his second year here, so yeah.
Be right back. You're good. We're off.
All right, we're back from our break. We have Patrick here, our operations manager for this season. Last season, he had a different role, which we can go over in a little bit. How are you doing today, though?
Oh, I'm great. I'm excited to get back in some games. We had a little bit of a break there, but, you know, my happy place is at the field when the team is playing well. So I'm excited to get things back under control
Playing
tonight.
well, keyword, playing well.
That is very important. And you talk about field, Patrick, and yes, we'll talk about the Pioneers, but first I want to talk about what your other love is in sports. And the other field that you like is the soccer pitch. So, you know, we've been talking about Euros that are going on in Copa America. So talk about, you know, say right now, going through the day, what would you do outside of working for the Pioneers? What's been something that you've been talking about to me about a little bit off camera?
You know, I'm a big soccer guy. Chuck hates it. Myra hates it. I'm not the biggest on baseball. I'm learning the sport. I'm enjoying the sport, especially when the Pioneers are playing. But soccer, I've always been a soccer guy. I've played my entire life. Love watching. And so right now I'm having the greatest time because it's Pioneers games. It's Euros in the morning. I wake up, watch some soccer games. Copa America's at night that I have playing in the background. So it's a big sports thing. Yeah, NBA Finals, unfortunately, just ended. But this time of year is my favorite because I get every little sport I possibly can to soak in.
So you're up from like 7 in the morning to like 11 at night doing something related to sports all day. And you still play with your friends from college. Is that true? Is that something that you do, you know, at times?
Oh, yeah. We have a league on Sundays that we play in Veterans Park here in town. So we go out, kick a ball, have some fun. It's kind of like a beer league, but not quite. And it's, yeah.
Sunday league. Sunday
league, exactly. Live, breathe, and eat sports on a daily basis. And I'm in the perfect role where I can excel in that.
Yeah, so kind of switching over now to the Pioneers, you know, kind of talk about your role last year and then how it switched to what you're doing now this season.
Yeah, so last year I served beer at the Flyover beer carts. Just some kegerators, was doing draft beer. This year, I mean, it's way more in depth. I am doing pretty much everything when it comes to the team, the full operational background from ordering food to staffing, all of that. So I would show up, get my beer cart set up, and then Sweet Caroline comes on, and I close my beer cart and go home. This year, it's everything and all.
Were you expecting when you started that position last season that that's where you'd be going this season?
No, and it completely happened out of the blue. They said they were looking for a general manager, and I sent in an application, and I have a decent amount of sales experience, so it just sounded perfect to me. I play a lot of games where you do some type of general manager mode when it comes to sports. And so
this is real life, Patrick.
I'm living out a fantasy right here, right now. So,
this is real life.
Everything's been great.
So does that mean that you would want to manage a collegiate league team or something like that in the future? Is that something that you look forward to doing? Of course, there's a lot more pressure for you from selling beer carts to what you do now. So do you think you could handle that pressure? Or would you want that pressure of, being a general manager of like a collegiate league team?
Well, when it comes to that, I've looked at this as a possible entry level to a further big team, but the problem is I love Scottsbluff. I love the area. My family's here. My best friends are here. I've grown up here, so it's hard to leave this place. I have the experience of moving away and then coming back because I missed everything. So I don't know. There's still a lot that's decided upon my future. Like if the Colorado Rockies called me up and were like, hey, dude, come be our general manager, how could you say no to that, right? But that's a couple years down the line, and I'm more focused on the present and making sure this season ends up going the best the way it can be.
Speaking of this season, just kind of go into what we have planned in the future for this ballpark for these fans. Kind of just go into depth. We did talk about this weekend, but kind of like looking at July maybe.
Yeah, for July, of course, we have our biggest game of the season, our military, where the War Dogs come in. The War Dogs are just kind of almost an adult league team. It's a complete expedition game. It's a lot of fun. They're all military veterans, and we have a great time when it comes to the military game. Then in further July 9th, we're looking at a faith night. So churches, please buy some group tickets. Let's get some people out there. That'll be a good time. July 6th is Toby Keith night, Red Solo Cup night. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. And then July 12th is a Fill the Park. It's Alliance night. So that's what our schedule is upcoming. So a lot of good things planned. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of stuff outside of that after this 10-game homestand that we have. And now the team was away for a week, and there was stuff going on at the ballpark, and you were involved in that. So what is it like when the team is away and there's still stuff going on at the ballpark? It's not as pressure-filled for you, but, what is that like for you going to the ballpark when the team isn't here and you're not getting ready for a 6:35 start?
A little bit less setup. It's a little bit easier. Like you show up. This weekend we had an 18U tournament at the ballpark, which was amazing. We had some local teams from around the area, Western Nebraska, Colorado, come up and play. A lot of fun to be a part of. I got to have experience when it comes to scorekeeping and PA and music. So just something outside of what I regularly do when it comes to Pioneers games.
And I want to talk about something else outside of work for you. Whenever I see this car, I know whose car it is. So, you drive this. Is it Mazda Q5? Is that what it is? Or
MX-5.
MX-5. So does that make you a car person given the car that you drive? Because it does have a little engine to it.
Fun fact I learned this weekend, actually, or sometime this past week, is that he drove a Mini Cooper beforehand.
So are you just a small car person, or what's going on?
Before that, it was a Chevy S10. Yeah, small cars. I like being compact. I like being able to fit into every spot I can possibly find.
He likes to also not have an excuse to drive people. He said,
right, and
he's
not,
like,
not
sorry,
put
I
stuff
only
in his
got
car.
2 seats.
He's like, I don't have a trunk, guys. Sorry.
You may quote me on that. Good luck. I'll never say that in public again.
This is on the air for forever, Patrick. So, yeah, I think you lost this matchup. But, Patrick, let's, just get into what do you do when it's the off season. You have your friends here, but what is it like for you living in Scottsbluff because you grew up here, as you said? And so what is it like for you to, still be at home and still have your friends around? And you might not be with the Pioneers at the ballpark throughout the season, but, what is it like for you?
It's wonderful. I'm growing into the community as a young businessman, and my friends are doing the same. I have best friends that own businesses out here, so we're growing together professionally as well as personally. It's been an absolute blessing. They've supported me along the way through my journey as I've supported them, and it's great to just call somebody on an off day and be like, hey, let's go play soccer tennis in 15 minutes, and we can go kick a ball, get some stress out, and have some fun.
Soccer
Soccer
tennis?
tennis?
Sorry, Patrick, we know that you love all of your sports. We played pickleball, we played disc golf. You play soccer on the weekends. Is there another sport that you don't play? Yes, soccer, tennis.
Can we go into that a little bit?
Is it on the tennis courts?
Yes. It's pretty much exactly that. Tennis, but with your feet. You don't use rackets. You're using feet, head, shoulders, chest, anything you can.
Where's the goals?
The object is to not
It's
let
tennis.
it bounce twice.
It's tennis with a soccer ball.
Yeah, if the ball bounces twice,
Oh.
then
Yeah.
you earn a point.
Okay, I was
and
thinking
then-
it's soccer with a
it's
tennis
like large
ball.
ping pong with
No,
your feet. Like
yeah.
yeah, and you just play in the
Interesting.
service squares.
Okay.
And we have a game that's called something not appropriate that I can say on the air. But essentially, you get 3 letters. Once you get 3 letters, then
PIG. We'll just say PIG.
There you go. It's PIG. If you get PIG and you're the first one to make 3 mistakes, then the 3 other players get to shoot at you. You line up on the baseline and they take shots.
Is it the
and
So I
red
guess
behind? Do you
living
guys do
in-
the red behind? I'm not going to say the other word, but red behind. Is that what you guys
exactly. That's how our setup for soccer tennis is.
So I'm assuming that did you come up with this soccer tennis, or is that something you found?
No,
somewhere?
it's a universal thing. I'll go out and
Really?
say that.
I've
do?
never
Patrick,
heard
the
of
world
play it.
champion of soccer
way-
tennis.
The way we play it may be specific for us and our friend group, but when I was out in college, I mean, we would go and we had to do fireworks sales in the summer to fundraise, and when after that was over, we'd just go play soccer tennis at just any local court that we could find.
I guess it's just casual, huh?
It pretty much is. You rock up to the court and you play.
Well, thank you so much, Patrick. It was great to have you on here. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about the team or anything like that?
No,
How
it's
great us interns are. No, I'm just kidding.
a pleasure to have everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for having me, and go Pioneers.
Go Pioneers. Next up, we'll have Ronan Hella come on to the show. He is our shortstop,
Shortstop.
but pitcher,
How many
question
games
mark?
I heard-
has he
I heard
played
he's
at
got some-
shortstop compared to his innings on the mound. But
Some good pitching
either
stats
way,
for him.
he'll
Great
be
man
here
on the
the
field.
Innings show. And yes, he is a great
Alrighty,
man
we'll
on the
see
field.
you after the break. All right, we're back from our break. We are here with Ronan Hella, one of the players for the Pioneers. Like we said before, he started here as a shortstop, got thrown into the pitcher's mound, and has just been absolutely dominating the mound. I mean, he's dominating it in infield too, but we already knew that was going to happen. So, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, doing good. Happy to be out here. Excited
Yeah,
to be
and Ronan, we were on the bus on the way home from this past 6-game road trip and getting back at 5 a.m. Is that something that happens for you at University of Colorado, Colorado Springs? And, when you travel with your team in the summer, is it different from how it's been here with the Western Nebraska Pioneers?
Oh, yeah. I think everyone's got their, not horror stories, but bus ride tales of going and visiting other places. We have our own from this past year, bus breaking down and doing the same thing. I don't think there was a time when we got back home any earlier than 10:30, 11, which sounds earlier than 5:30, but it's still the same thing. It's tough in that bus.
And so you came into this season as a shortstop. I'm not going to say you came into the season as a shortstop and have changed into a pitcher,
Right.
but we've needed arms on this team, and you stepped up in one of the first couple games in the season and did a good job. And then
The first game.
yeah,
The
in
first game of this season.
and you did a heck of a job. And then you kind of got put out there again in the second game, in your second appearance, and after that, it turned into 2 starts for you. So what has that been like? You know, I know you throw a fastball, a curveball, and a sweeper, and you don't need to talk about your arsenal and everything, but just your mentality between being a shortstop and then being on the mound, something that you didn't do a whole lot in school. What is that like for you?
Yeah, I've always grown up pitching. I've been a pitcher my whole life. It only stopped once I got to college, and I love it. I love how I can go out there and you can have that intensity that you want to have, be extremely focused on making your pitches and doing all that stuff. Every inning and every pitch, you can't really go out there at shortstop and try to be focused for 300 pitches out of the game. So it's nice to be out there and be directly impact on the game and what happens and everything.
Absolutely.
How does it feel to be one of the guys that on the team that kind of people are now relying on, that like, oh, if we need someone to get on that mound, we know that we can go to Ronan for that. Like, that's our guy. You know, because, you know, that dynamic of being that it guy sometimes.
Yeah, no, I love it. I when we were in Dodge City on this road trip and had thrown 2 innings, and, you know, the plan wasn't really to keep me out there. And once we got the lead, I basically told the coaches,
Jumped in
I was
that
like,
10th inning, said, let me finish.
Yeah, I said, give me the ball back. So got it done, and I just love being out there. Love being that guy.
Absolutely. And Ronan, you're from Albuquerque, and another guy from Albuquerque just walked in. He's coming to meet you here after this, and that's Aiden Young. So what is it like having somebody else from Albuquerque? You guys knew each other a little bit growing up, because I know it's the largest city in New Mexico, but it's not like a huge city, of course, right? So what is it like having somebody else that you knew before college and stuff like that here at this team?
Yeah, it's awesome. So Aiden and I, from I think about 10 years old, it was my first club ball experience. I don't know about him, but first club ball team I ever played on, he was on it, and we played Little League together. We played all the way since we were 10. Went to the Little League World Series together when we were 12. And
You went to the Little League World Series?
Yeah, well, the regionals.
The
in
regionals,
Waco.
okay.
Yeah, Southwest Regional in Waco. Basically, a lot of the same experience as it is in Williamsport, besides actually playing there.
You have fame from being in the Little League World Series. Talk about your dad, Ivor, who was here a couple of weeks ago, and he got to come see you. He traveled all the way from Albuquerque. You know, he drove up here. He was a sprinter, right? And you ran track as well a little bit in middle school, at least. You know, you're 6'4". Why wouldn't you be running track? But talk about your dad, because the Olympic trials are going on right now, and I know that you told me that he was in the trials at one point and very close to going to the Olympics.
Yeah. So back when my dad was in college, he grew up in a really small town in Texas called Alpine, Texas. And
do you know about Alpine?
I do know about Alpine. Okay, I'll let you finish your story, and then I'll go on my rant about Alpine. Aw.
No, so yeah, grew up in a small town called Alpine. Went to high school there, and ended up getting a chance to walk on at University of New Mexico specifically for high jump, but he ended up doing a lot of the other events, you know, heptathlon or decathlon or whatever. That includes high jump, and he ran and did some of the 4x4, I think, like that. But he was had both the records, indoor and outdoor. I don't know if he still does or what's going on there.
I sure hope
been
so.
A while. Yeah. But he jumped 7.3 3/4 one year, and 7.4 was Olympic qualifying. So he was really close.
Quarter of an inch away from
Wow.
going to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And what would that have been like for you? I mean, were you born yet at that point? Because to have your dad, you know, even if you are born after, right? And your dad's like, yeah, before you were born, I went to the Olympics. You know, no big deal.
Exactly. No, that was about, I'd say 10, 15 years before I was born. It was probably about 10 years. Yeah, somewhere in the 90s, and I was born in 2003. So.
What do you know about Alpine? He said his dad's from Alpine.
So I have a friend back home that he's like one of my best friends, and he actually, for the past 2 or 3 seasons, I forgot, he actually was their broadcaster for the Alpine Cowboys, which is their summer league team. I don't know, I just got so giddy because like I miss him so much, and just to think like Alpine, that's just like, you know, and he does broadcasting and all that stuff, so it's just a small world. Not a lot of people talk about Alpine, and it's like just hearing that word, I automatically think of my best friend, and I freaking love him. So
Might not be
awesome.
such a small city in Texas after all.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
he said it was when he was telling me about it, but
Yeah.
yes, so just that's so interesting.
That's
Sorry, I
awesome.
just
No, you're
I got
fine.
so excited. I was like, Alpine, I know Alpine. I've heard things about Alpine.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a little bit back to the Diamond, Ronan. What has it been like being with this team? Because the guys still enjoy being around each other. You know, we struggled in the past week going 1-5 on the road trip, but being here in Gering and Scotts Bluff, it's not New Mexico, it's not Colorado Springs. It's a small, small city. So what has it been like for you, you know, being able to hang out with the guys before games? And I know I see you a lot talking to your dad all the time and stuff like that. So what is it like for you being away from home as well?
Yeah, this is my first like traditional college summer baseball experience. So my biggest thing was I wanted to get here and I wanted to get better. So I spent a lot of my time trying to
On the mound, I think we know the answer to that one.
spent a lot of my time trying to, you know, work on my arm, work on my swing, work on my fielding, stuff like that. So I spent a lot of time at the field, but it's a small town here, but it's not as small as you think it really is. There's a bunch of stuff to do here, and I've enjoyed my time being here so far. And the team's great too. I love all the guys on the team.
When we came over the hill at like 5 a.m., I don't know if you were awake, but you know, you see all the lights of Scotts Bluff and Gering, and you realize it's really not that small of a town.
It looks huge. It looks huge.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I totally lost my train of thought now. Dang it, I shouldn't have let you ask the question.
It's all good.
Just kind of like, what are you kind of hoping to like learn? What skills or like what are you hoping to grow from this summer, like while you're here though?
Yeah. So Coach Sharkey, I love. Biggest thing is getting different opinions, different views. Grown up, there's always stuff you can gain from every coach. You know, you get a little piece of information from your high school coach, a little piece of information from all the club coaches growing up. So I'm just wanting to try to get something out of Sharkey and out of these other guys. We got a bunch of I'm a D2 guy, but we got a bunch of D1 infielders and other D2 infielders, and just seeing if they have other things to offer and just learn as I go through the summer.
And then what is your off day looking like around here? Like, what do you like doing here in Scotts Bluff and Gering?
Yeah, I'm trying to get into golf. I'm not great right now, but trying to get into golf. So Aiden and I have been golfing a little bit, and
you've been golfing with Aiden because on this road trip we saw who's golfed as a kid, and Aiden's a golfer.
Yeah, for sure. He grew up. We got for some reason that little club team we played on produced like 3-4 really good golfers. One of them's at Oregon right now, and then Aiden kept on the baseball track, but the golf thing stuck with him. So
yeah, I mean we didn't get to ask him about that last week when he was here on the show, because I don't even think that we knew that Aiden was a golfer like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And one more thing, you know, just about home. We talked about your dad. What about your mom? Because you've told me that she tunes into the broadcast, but you know, is it something that you miss? You know, obviously your dad came, mom's still at home. Maybe she's gonna make a surprise trip and see you at some point, anything like that. But
she's trying to come up. We're trying to plan it. It's a little bit harder for her with her work schedule and stuff like that, but she watches all the games. She loves the broadcast, love what you guys do here, and we're trying to figure out when she can get up maybe to the Springs or to Denver or something a little bit closer than here.
I remembered my question.
Yeah?
How'd you find out about the Western Nebraska Pioneers? There we go.
Yeah. I told my coach, I was like, you know, I didn't play traditional summer ball last year. Just played a few tournaments with my old club team, and he was like, well, if you want somewhere to play, I've got this guy named Chuck, and he might be able to get you a spot somewhere. And I filled out the form, and I think it was our second player we signed.
Yeah, and I think one or two more questions for you, Ronnie. You know, we enjoy talking to you because you make life easy for us.
Yes, sir.
You work for a job that we can't necessarily say exactly what you do, right? But does that workaholic mentality, because I know on the road trip you were working from 8 a.m. until 12. I heard from guys that, you know, oh, Ronan's working, he's not gonna come to the IHOP with us or whatever it was, you know. So does that help you on the field as well, you know, being able to work in the mornings and having that mentality all the time of having a job to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I that's just been something that's been instilled in me from my parents to coaches to everyone I grown up with. It's not going to be given. Nothing's going to be given to you. You got to go work and get it, and whatever way possible. So that's definitely was the mentality on the road trip, however possible.
All right, kind of random question, but you know we have the final for the men's college World Series, Texas A&M and Tennessee. Who are you taking for that win for their first national championship?
Yeah. not disappointed, but at 2 SEC schools is a little predictable, I guess.
It
this
just
year.
means more. It just means more.
Half of it was SEC and half of it was
ACC. Yeah. So. I think I just like Texas A&M a little bit more. They got a little bit younger kids on the team. That 2 freshmen producing pretty good right now for them.
They do have some quality bats and a quality lineup. A lineup that we do too at times, which has struggled a little bit, but being at home where we played well, hopefully that'll pick up.
Who are you going for, Jeff?
I don't know. I might go on the opposite side of Ronan and take Tennessee. They've got a good lineup as well, and if the kid Christian Moore that hit for the cycle in like the first game that he played in the first cycle since 1956 is pretty crazy. So it's hard to go against the lineup in which a guy can hit for a cycle and you can score 12 runs in a ball game.
As much as a Gator fan, it hurts me to say.
Are you gonna take somebody in this because your team was this close to making it?
I'm not going to go on this tangent because I could go on for an hour about how the Gators did an impressive job this season. Every single day they pushed the limits.
What are you making faces over there for? They made it to the semifinals.
Hey, okay.
Hey, Aiden Young is over here making faces about the Florida Gators, but
it was sad to see that Cags will no longer be playing Jack Caglione. But anyway, I will take Texas A&M only because the Gators have more of a rivalry against Tennessee.
Oh, so you
and
just
that
can't take
ugly
Tennessee.
orange, it's not the right orange. Come on, let's be honest here. So it's gonna be Texas A&M for me. And also, you beat the Gators twice. That just means you're beating, that's a good team.
You're not beating the best of the best, but we'll see.
I don't know about that one, but it's okay. But anyway, thank you so much, Ronan. Is there anything else you'd like to say or mention?
No, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thank you. That should be it. I think we're going to do a quick little wrap up after we come back from the break just to give you guys a little scoop of what's happening this week and next week. But by the way, secret word is going to be Ronan today. So if you come to the ballpark today and go to the merch truck, say Ronan, you'll get a prize. The first 3 people will get a prize.
Yep.
So Ronan's our secret word for today.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after this quick break.
All right, we're back for our little segment just to give you guys a little recap and looking ahead at this weekend. So, like I said, this weekend, today is Fill the Park. So there's a few businesses that still might have tickets. So if you're interested in doing something tonight, make sure to come to the businesses that are listed on our Instagram to pick up your ticket. There will be giveaways and all that fun stuff. Australians are coming today. And then tomorrow...
The Australians.
And tomorrow is going to be a Guns and Hoses. So like I said, the Gering Police Department is doing a softball charity event for Shop with a Cop. And then after that, the Australians are here for Game 2. And for Game 2. And then on Sunday, we have our big event, Kids Day and Bark in the Park, and Movie at the Ballpark, which will be streaming Beethoven for that night.
Yes, and that's largely in thanks to the Midwest Theater. And, of course, As Anna mentioned, we play the Australian Select Colts, and then the Greeley Grays come into town on Sunday and Monday. Hayes Larks will be here on Wednesday, Thursday, in a 3-game series against the Colorado Rough Riders, who are also one of the best teams. So the end of the month for the Pioneers will be rough, playing 2 of the best teams in the league. Before Patrick mentioned the U.S. military game on July 1st, which there will also be fireworks, I believe, after the game, and because we don't play on July 4th. So that'll be a big day, and we hope that everybody comes out. And if your family watching the Extra Innings show, make sure you tell your players when you're going to show up, unless you want to surprise them, of course, because we do have tickets for you. So just make sure that you let them know.
That, and then also for the U.S. military game, we are doing a jersey auction for that game. So there's an auction happening that will be posted soon, where you can buy or auction for the jersey for that giveaway. Not giveaway, but the auction. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to take time to thank Hayden, because he always comes here and he helps the streams in the background. You don't see him on camera, and he's a young kid who's here from Gehring. And
our technical difficulties
he's
happened
from Scotts
because he
Bluff,
wasn't
but,
here last week.
Yes.
He is so great. Awesome. Big shout out to Hayden.
He's always working. So if there's a problem on the stream, you know who to say now. Just let Hayden know that something's going on. But a big thanks to Hayden, as always, because he's always helping us out and making sure that everything is going right.
Well, thanks for watching, and make sure to follow all of our social media so you are up to date on all the information that's happening with the Western Nebraska Pioneers.
Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter.
X.
X.
And are we starting some work on the TikTok?
TikTok's already happening, by the way. Just letting you know.
All right. And we have that Summerween coming up, which there's going to be a TikTok about it.
Yes, there is a Summerween coming up very, very soon. That is on June 29th, Summerween.
June 29th. That is a Saturday, the second game against the Colorado Rough Riders. We'll remind you next week for Extra Innings Show on the 28th. So
yes.
thank you, as always. I'm Jeffrey Nelson.
I'm Anna Temba. Thank you guys for watching.